When I heard that finally Filipinos have a unicorn prospect, Kai Sotto, I was naturally excited for the whole Philippines basketball. Potentially a first homegrown Filipino player to ever hear his name in the NBA draft, Kai was attracting attention even from Europe, who wanted to develop a player with the size and exceptional skills that Kai Sotto possessed. Although the buzz around Kai started back in 2018 FIBA tournament, currently Kai Sotto is playing in Japan. So what the hell happened? After a successful FIBA World Cup Youth Tournament in Argentina, Kai Sotto received an offer from Real Madrid, a 5-year $1 million contract for a 17-year-old Kai to develop in Europe's one of the best organizations. Surprisingly, he declined the offer just to join the skill factory in Atlanta, just one of the many mistakes that people surrounding Kai Sotto's development have made. In 2019, the 18-year-old Kai was a 4-star recruit. Kentucky, Georgia Tech, Gonzaga, a lot of colleges were in talks with Kai Sotto, as they were impressed by his size, length, passing, decision-making, and the unique talent. Although Kai once again surprises and chooses to develop in NBA's G League Ignite team alongside Jonathan Kuminga and Jalen Green. Now back then the Ignite team was just created, they offered young prospects a different route to NBA and good salaries going up to $500K. But from the games that I personally watched, Ignite's way of developing young players is questionable. We saw how Jalen Green had troubles playing winning basketball in Houston. Ignite is an environment that places development first, the results second. Anyways, he trains with Ignite, COVID happens, you can't travel, and this is where Kai Sotto opts to help out national team Philippines in the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers. Given the logistical issues caused by the pandemic, qualifiers are held in a bubble, just like G League season was also held in a bubble, meaning that Kai cannot travel in between, thus Ignite and Kai Sotto parted ways. So Kai Sotto's environment chose to pull him out of G League Ignite just to help his national team in a meaningless qualifying tournament against teams like Thailand, Indonesia, and strongest opponent South Korea. Do you really think that Philippines would have struggled without Kai? And this stupid decision completely closed any doors for development in USA. He was ineligible to play for a college team, he was ineligible for the 2021 NBA draft due to Sotto joining Ignite. So in the Asian qualifiers, Kai Sotto had a decent performance, I guess, but you would expect better games against teams like Indonesia. But the first game that Kai highly impressed everyone was against Serbia and Boban Marjanovic in the Olympics qualifier. The 19-year-old Kai instantly showcased aggressiveness attacking Boban. He wasn't shy in taking shots, putting his head down, and initiating offense in the paint. I've seen so many games where young players can't cope with the pressure, wants to do too much, and ends up rushing their decision-making, which leads them to the bench. But Kai really showed off what he's actually capable. The most exciting part of his game is how well he scans the floor and how well he's able to pass the ball. Kai has good patience when he's with the ball on the 3-point line. His size easily lets him see opposition's defensive openings. To have these point center skills combined with that size at that age is impressive. Considering that Kai Sotto stands at 7 feet 3 inches and has a wingspan of 7 feet 5 inches, Sotto still has a soft touch around the rim. Of course, Kai got massively exposed on defensive end, Boban bullied him in some occasions, but this is the exact level that you want to play at. Against grown-ass men that already played in NBA or EuroLeague, no one cares that you dominated in Asia against half of your size players. This is the level where you go out of your comfort zone, this is the level that forces you to make errors and improve. So after the Olympic qualifying tournament, Kai Sotto yet again surprises everyone as he refuses the most logical move at that moment to play in the Summer League and chooses Australia. Now, Australian basketball in my eyes is the most physical type of basketball out there. It's a great place to develop. Australian League had plenty of players that went directly to NBA. Overall, it was a great challenge for Kai to toughen himself up and gain experience in a competitive league. But Sotto simply didn't have the same impact as he had in Asia. The game seemed to be too fast and too physical for Kai, he couldn't match the physicality of some Australian big men. I also noticed that from being a point center in Philippines national team, Sotto was being used as the typical old-school pick-and-roll center that only cut to the basket. In the Olympic qualifier, Sotto averaged 1.5 assists, while in the Australian League, Sotto only had 0.5 assists per game. So I do think maybe offensively Kai wasn't used in the correct role, but his defensive issues were evident. Kai simply lacked the strength under the rim. In 2022, after 1 year in Australia, the 20-year-old Kai Sotto failed to hear his name in the NBA draft. 2 years in Australia, not the most impressive stat line, but then again, this is an experience that Kai never had before, competing on a regular basis in one of the best leagues in the planet. But here comes another stupid decision by Kai Sotto. Kai decides to leave Australia, signs with the Japanese team to once again compete against players half of his size. There's an option in the contract to leave if there's an offer by an NBA team. Now, could you please name a player that joined NBA directly from the Japanese league? I will give you a couple of seconds to think. Yep, exactly none. Rui Hachimura, he played for Gonzaga before getting drafted. Yuta Watanabe, he balled out in the G League. Yuta Tabuse, he played in the NBA Development League. Do you see the pattern here? Next question, could you name the best centers currently in the NBA? Most likely it's Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, Kristaps Porzingis, Rudy Gobert, Anthony Davis, Domantas Sabonis, maybe Yusuf Nurkic, Nikola Vucevic, or Jonas Valanciunas. So the best centers that at the same time are the most skillful happens to be Europeans. Yet Kai Sotto rejected every single possible offer from Europe. According to some sources, last summer Kai got an offer from Spanish, German and Lithuanian teams. There were at least 4 EuroLeague teams that wanted to have Kai, but for some strange reason Kai Sotto refused those offers. Kai Sotto is still just 21, he's an incredibly talented player, but saying that he's ready for NBA? Why on earth NBA would want him if every time he's given an opportunity to prove himself at a high level, he chooses a more comfortable and easier way to showcase his skills? Japan is not a place to progress for an NBA level prospect. For example, Victor Wembanyama didn't get any playing time in EuroLeague for Asvel, so what he does? He goes to a different French team, dominates the league, wins the MVP, leads the league in points, rebounds, efficiency points, and most importantly, kicks out his previous team in the playoffs. Kai still has everything in front of him. Will it be EuroLeague, Australia, or NBA is fully up to Kai Sotto.